I honestly feel like they just are giving up a little bit with some of these names.
Your turn, Yogi boy.
So, Flames of Destruction has the kind of sneak peek information has been announced, and as always beforehand, we get a picture of the promo card that is announced. If you don't know what that is, at the sneak peek, when you do enter, you get 5 packs and you get a special promo card, and that is normally a rarity bumped version of a card that's already in the set, and this one is no different. However, the card is called Monster Reborn Reborn. Yes, that is right, you didn't hear me stutter. Monster Reborn is not being printed in this set, but an alternative version of it, which is Monster Reborn Reborn, which is a spell card. If you don't know what it is target 3 monsters in your graveyard, your opponent chooses one, then you special summon it, and then you banish the others. You can only activate one once per turn. It's getting a bit worrying for me. The level of, let's say, unimaginativeness, if that's even a word, just the lack of creativity in some of these localized names that we have over here. Selective Reborn is a decent name. It is literally a translation, that the name translates basically into the card's effect. If someone says, you know what Monster Reborn does? What does Selective Reborn do? Well, I assume I have to select something, right? And then from there on, who knows? Which is correct, because my opponent has to select 3. I select 3, my opponent selects 1. Others get banished and 1 gets summoned. So I don't see why now we have Monster Reborn Reborn. It feels like they were like, well, this card was Monster Reborn. It's got lots of Monster Reborns on the... I know, there's more than one Monster Reborn on the card, so let's Reborn Reborn. I mean, even Monster Reborn squared would be technically better. But this is a trend in this set. So I think it's like the other card, the Avram card, the one that we got in the most recent special edition. It had a flavor text on the Japanese side, which was, fairly decent. I thought it was quite cool. And I'm going to attempt to find it now and pull it up, because I actually thought it was fairly decent. But unfortunately, it was destroyed for the English sub, and the Japanese translates to: the hero who defends the light of the stars must destroy the darkness of the illusionary world, and entrust his power to the Chosen One. The will inherited by the Chalice of the Stars will become a new key, and become the sword that cuts down darkness. That is the flavor text for the Japanese version of Mech Knight Avram. What is the English flavored text? Check this out. Are you serious? You can't even port over the Japanese flavored text. You have to change it to something, and not only do you change it from the original, which is a pretty cool, flavor text. Flavor text is some of the best. If you don't know what I mean by flavor text, it's the normal description on a vanilla card, a normal card, not normal monster card, that is. And it normally has some pretty cool things. If you look at like Evil Sworn, Heliotrope, or different bits and pieces like that, that has backwards. Just in general, flavor text is quite an interesting thing, just because it means that Konami themselves can be a little bit, let's say, creative normally in what they do. They can put down some pretty interesting stuff. But check this out. I looked for some form of almost like link to be, why would it say possibly check this out? What could that refer to on the cards? And I looked and I can't really see anything. It's literally just, maybe he's saying they're referring to the swords. Check this out. It's just so crap. But Konami aren't exactly not known for their terrible localizations. There have been so many bad ones down the line. We had Totally Awesome not that long ago. Well, I say not that long ago, it feels not that long ago, but actually it was a very long time ago, wasn't it? Because it was Invasion of Vengeance, and that was before my quitting phase. Totally Awesome in Japan was, if I remember correctly, it was a Treat Toad. And Treat Toad made sense because it was 2 toads and it had a apple or some form. I think it was a peach that's on its head, technically. But we changed it to we changed it to Totally Awesome. I remember being at the at the sneak at that, or I was at the Konami event that eventually got, you know, canned. But I remember seeing that and thinking, that is god awful. That is not even funny. I get that you want to do a pun, but it's just absolutely awful. And there are so many other ones as well that I remember just being so disappointed at. There was one as well, Star Eater for us, for Judgment of Light. I remember being at the sneak peek for that back in the day. And I remember knowing that the card's name was Starform Dragon. It was Starform Dragon that was over here. And unfortunately, it got changed to Star Eater. Star Eater versus Starform Dragon. What? There's just no comparison to some of these. And there are just so many that are actually awful as well. And I really don't like the whole pun thing. If it was done every so often, if it wasn't done like constantly in every single set, I wouldn't mind it, because then it would be a bit of a laugh and a joke, but you're ruining some of the really cool potential card names and card archetypes that are around. Zodiac Beast was Zodiac Beast in the OCG, and you can say two things about Zodiac themselves, or Zodiac, it doesn't really matter, but I must have thought, I can just imagine Konami thinking, hey, they're all based on like animals, what if we call it Zodiac Beast instead of Like, what is the rationale behind that? It honestly, to me, makes the game in the TCG side feel really childish, and it's pandering so hard to the kids. I honestly feel that they don't need to do that. Fine, make a couple of cards like that. Make an archetype every so often that you do the butchering of Zodiac to Zodiac. But you take away any like really cool backstory that potentially could be had for the archetype. Just take Zodiac as the immediate example. Zodiac beasts are called that because they're based on the zodiacs. I say zodiacs, I mean they've mind fucked me. Zodiac beasts are based on the zodiac signs, and you can see in the card art in the background, you can see the actual constellations, and it's really cool if you think about it. Again, regardless if you want to say what you thought about the archetype, in a sense, because they were busted. But that's a pretty cool thing to base it on. There's been so many other really cool archetypes that are based on very cool things as well. But it's not only just like butchering certain things, it's like really random changes that I feel don't need to happen. There's one that was Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. And they changed it from Starve Venom Fusion Dragon. Why are you changing such simple things like that? I don't understand why. It makes me feel like they're doing it just for the sake of doing it at times. And I really don't think that's very good. I don't think you should really be doing that. Another one that was quite funny was Performer Pal. Entermate in the OCG. It was Entermate. You know, Entermate Plush File or whatever originally it was. But Performer Pal. Again, pandering to the child. I really do think that a lot of it is pandering to the children. And also, you know, the chemical beasts in the OCG. Chemi-critters. So you're telling me that you're just pandering to that. It's just ridiculous. And some of the other ones as well, that if you just want to think about it, what's that interplanetary, thorny, stupid, crappy like, why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we just taking it? And I say that, we can't do anything about it, but I really feel that it really undermines just the game that we play. It undermines the whole history and the backstory and the lore of an archetype or a card when the localization butchers something so painfully like they've been doing. And I'm not saying this is anything new. It isn't anything new. It's been going on for a while. But the straw that broke the camel's back for me was Avram and Monster Reborn, or Selective Reborn. That's just lazy, and that's two cards just in this set. That's two cards that I flat out think is fucking lazy. And I don't get what goes through people's heads. Whoever makes these decisions, I don't get why they think that is an acceptable thing. I don't understand. I think the biggest one for me that I don't understand is the flavor text change. You've changed it from that pretty cool lore, gives history on the backstory of the card, gives a little insight into the archetype if people, you know, don't go out of their way to look at it. They read the card text and think, hey, that's pretty cool. Now check this out. Check this out.